Hello there, my name's Anthea.
And I'm Sarah Haran, and this is the show where we delve into celebrity handbags.
Welcome to 3 Bags on a Boat. And today we're joined by the gorgeous Alex Murphy to find out what's inside your bag, which will tell us so much about you.
I've got so much stuff in my bag. I have my Sarah bag today. This is my favorite one because it's like, you can fit everything in this bag. It's amazing. So, this is my first thing that I brought. And I thought
that's so posh.
It is posh, but I bought it because...
Please tell me it's knockoff.
No, you know what? It's my first ever real thing I ever bought for myself. And I bought it because I was switching careers. I was on Dancing on Ice and I had an amazing career. I know you did it as well.
Oh. I loved Dancing on Ice. I loved everything about it apart from one thing. You know,
I don't know.
The tunnel. The tunnel. We call it the tunnel of fear. The tunnel of fear. I have never known fear like that ever in my life.
It's
you are
scary.
standing there. Your name is being read out.
You're sweating.
You are, and you know you could faceplant.
At any minute.
Yeah.
Or go back out through it.
And what if it happens if you say, no, actually, I've changed my mind?
People do.
Yeah.
I've literally dragged partners through it when they've gone, I can't do it.
Nope.
Kem Setney, his first show went, I can't do it. I was like, get out of the tunnel. We're going. I know, it's a scary job. It was a great job. I loved the show. I had such a good time. I'm sure you enjoyed it as well. It was really fun.
Such fun memories.
Yeah, so I essentially...
So all your memories are written in there then.
So you bought this.
So I bought this when I made my first paycheck with social media. And I was like, I don't own anything designer. I'm not really into, brand names or anything like that, but I wanted to show up to meetings with agents that I was going to and look professional.
Yeah.
So this is all of my content, very old school. I write all my content down, everything that, what day it is, what piece of content I'm filming, and I keep myself to like a diary.
Oh, so this is just social media?
This is all of my social media, yeah.
Nip
so
to Sainsbury's.
The occasional nip to Sainsbury's. But what's so hard is I've used this for so many years. I've had such a hard time switching to my phone. Like, you know how everyone has a diary?
I did that this year. It's really hard,
It's so
hard. But I've stuck with it.
I know, it's really difficult.
So far, I've got to 90% of my meetings.
Yeah.
So this is moving to your phone?
So rather than a
planner,
I've moved on to my phone.
See, I couldn't go back to a planner. I'm just so phone.
I know, but what's so funny is if anybody's looking for content, I'm like, hold on, let me just get my planner out. I'm like, that was back in February that I shot that, and I remember everything. And I literally, it's my one thing that made me realize I think I'm gonna have a career in social media and move forward. So it's nice. It's a nice.
So it's actually new beginnings as well.
Yeah, it was a fresh start.
So it is beautiful. Can I just hold it?
Nice.
It's heavy though, isn't it?
Of course it is.
And are they making the infills every single year?
No, I buy them off of Etsy.
You have to just go somewhere else.
Just get them off of Etsy. Yeah.
Missed opportunity, Louis. Come on.
I know.
Beautiful.
Clever, right?
Yes.
What else do I have in here? Oh, well, speaking of that, I have like a home office. So my home office, if you're a social media creator, is essentially your phone charger, your phone, what else is in here that's good? Oh, you need headsets because obviously I film everywhere and I edit everywhere. So I sit on the train and I edit. It doesn't matter where I am, I'm editing. So I always have my headphones. A ring light, because everyone needs to look better in a ring light, obviously.
Ring lights,
which one have you got? Because I've got the
quite
little clip-on one.
So this one.
But it is actually a ring clip. That looks really good.
And you clip it on your phone. Yeah. And you just, ta-da.
And then you're like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you manage to talk, walk, and still carry the phone.
Not well, but you figure it out.
It's
interesting, isn't it? And then obviously a phone charger, but it's like this is like my little home office.
Right.
Most people have a place that they go to.
Little selection.
That's good. Yes.
So this means that when we take a picture, if you do a selfie and you clip that on, you can actually
on the top
look a bit better.
Gets rid of all the wrinkles and blurs out everything.
It's small as well.
It is. It's tiny, and I think people think that you need a lot to start a social media platform. You really don't need anything. That was like £5.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. It's not expensive.
But you do need what you have. I think you've got to be brave. I think you've got to be able to communicate. You've got to be able to transcend that little black hole that's there, which is the camera, and speak to people. And you're so good at it.
Thank you. like, I think it's a skill. It's kind of, obviously, what you've done is a skill, and you've trained in it, and you know, and it's presenting. What social media has done is given us this opportunity that anybody can
can give it
a resource or informative, and it's hard. And that is something that I think people don't realize how hard it is to just get in front of a camera and provide useful information, or, you know, either you educate or you give humor to people, or, you know, there's so many things about social media that is incredible that I love, and I use it as a resource for everything. But it's definitely something that I've learned, and I think you cultivate it as you, you know, shape it.
How have you seen yourself learn over the years that you've been doing it? Because if you go back to some of your earlier posts,
I would cringe, but to be fair,
so what is it now that you think you're doing that has improved you as a performer?
I think what I would say is, when you first start, everything's cringy. Like, this is uncomfortable, you feel uncomfortable, you're out of your depth. But you have to be willing to go through that cringiness and that uncomfortable, and people talking about you or making fun of you or saying, did you see that video that she posted? And once you get past that, obviously, one, it's a lucrative job, and there's so much money to be made in social media. And every time someone says to me, oh, I want to become an influencer, I'm like, do it. Like, there is more than enough to go around for everybody. But it's hard, so you have to treat it as a job. So I treated it as a 9 to 5. We were in COVID, and I was like, everyone's having nice vacations and at home with their families, which in lockdown, and they're having, like, enjoying themselves. And I was like, nope. I was up every morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, figuring out
a schedule.
Had a diary and figured out how to do it.
But what you have, probably through skating, Sarah has this in bucket loads. Because you have a great work ethic. Because I think whenever I've worked with athletes, and I have on various occasions, obviously in Dancing on Ice, but other sort of reality television programs, there is a mentality of training.
Get up,
schedule,
get up for a start.
Get those skates on. Get into that. I remember working with Steve Redgrave, and it was just like crazy. I learned so much from him.
Well, discipline.
You have discipline.
I think skaters, dancers, performers, we like a schedule, and we like to be able to, you know, and you can't form a schedule in social media until you create it yourself. So there's no one that tells you, get up at this time, make this type of content. You look at the analytics. Like, I'm looking at the back end of everything and going, okay, that did really well. But still, at the same time, I'm also trying to not lose who I am, and hope that people follow for the same reason.
That is so excited by that, but that's making me want to know what else is in there.
So, speaking of social media, I guess you could say that these are you're going to laugh at these. So my most recent thing that I've been doing in socials is the carnivore diet. I started in January, I think it was January 3rd, my husband and I were like, let's try this carnivore diet thing. Again, had seen it from a resource, seen it from Joe Rogan podcast. And we were like, we're not really feeling that great. Let's just try this diet. And it's not a diet for weight loss. We never did it for weight loss. You will maybe lose some weight on it, because it does help people, and it does help people lose weight if they're trying to lose weight. We decided to go on it because it was really good for your brain fog. And so I'm a stroke survivor, and I was like, we need to do this. So these are ketone strips that you wee on.
Okay.
And you can check
time in the morning.
Yeah, in the morning or even throughout the day. So if I eat something and I'm like, oh, I really don't feel good, I'm like, I wonder if that had too many carbs in it, and I'll wee on it and I can tell what level. So I'll be like, I won't eat that again.
So how long does it take to go through your system till it affects your wee?
Yeah, that I don't really know. But it essentially, your body produces ketones, and ketones are when you have zero carbs or low amounts of carbs, or you're burning it off quite quickly. And when your body produces ketones, it allows your brain to function better, and allows you to have more energy, and it does all these things. So I try to stay in ketosis and monitor it all the time. But part of the diet, once you've been on it, we've now been on this for 6 months, you kind of experiment. So I'll be like, oh, maybe I'm gonna have this and try this, and then I'm like, oh, that cheese must have had too many carbs in it, because I actually have a bit of a headache. Like, my body now is reacting to it, which is kind of crazy.
So to make it simple, what do you not eat?
So I eat meat.
No, what eggs. Do you not eat?
Everything but no vegetables. Everything. No vegetables. No fruit.
No fruit. No vegetables.
No carbohydrates. Like, obviously minimal amounts of carbohydrates. But what the things that I do, it's almost easier because it's the other way around. I eat meat, fish, eggs, cheese, full fat cheese.
Full fat cheese.
And that's kind of it.
You don't have to worry about going to a tasting menu.
Yeah, a charcuterie board is my best friend.
Okay, so how do you both feel now?
Amazing. So my husband is very thin, never needed to lose
like
weight.
He needs more energy.
Yeah, I know. He's got a lot of energy. He didn't need to lose any more weight. He didn't need to do anything, but he was feeling foggy.
Right.
And he said, I don't feel my best. And when he went on it, the first things that went away was his IBS. So he has no IBS. He's had IBS since he was 12. He has no asthma. He's been on an inhaler since he was, I think, 11 or 12 as well. Has not used the inhaler once. His mental clarity, he's lost probably about a stone. He didn't even have it to lose, but he's lost a lot of weight, and all of a sudden he's muscled up without going to the gym.
Instead.
Yeah, and not even having to go to the gym.
Feeding
but he's feeding himself with tons of protein, and just cognitively he feels so much better, he said. So yeah, not that he needs it. He doesn't need all that energy, but I know. My life is carnage.
What is your life like at home?
I know.
Because obviously
I am
am
moving.
Yes, exactly.
Just keep moving. Move along.
When I mentioned that your husband doesn't need any more energy, obviously I'm going to ask you to explain what he does, because it's inexplainable.
I know.
Really, but I was actually watching him on Instagram.
Were you?
And I
love that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he's a social media creator as well. That's how we met. We met on Celebrity Coach Trip. It was on Channel 4. And he was on with his friend. I was on with a Dancing on Ice professional, my friend, and we met, and now we're, married with a dog and a house years later. But he is a comedy creator. So a lot of he taught me everything. Everything that I know is from Paul, and everything that I started from is because of him, because he was like, you should try this, you should do this. And it was him that pushed me into social media and said, your social media is nice, Alex. It's nice to see pretty pictures of Dancing on Ice.
Yes.
And he was like, but nobody knows who you are. And he's like, and you're actually funny. And he was like, so why don't you just show people who you are? And that was when I was like, all right, well, he's not embarrassed. Why should I be embarrassed to do stuff?
Was it 5 million?
They have 55 million across their platforms.
Now.
Yeah,
it's
across everything,
across.
Yeah, so they've got I think their Instagram's their smallest, and that's 5 million. Yeah.
See, I only watch it because I can't get my head around TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
I know, it's
too complicated.
I know.
Very different.
Yes. But you've got something else.
Also, so these are this is more carnivore stuff.
Yeah, right, okay.
I actually stole these from the whack pad. Yeah, piddle sticks. I stole these from the whack pad where my husband's office is, so don't tell anybody.
Yes.
These are electrolytes, and they're so good for you to keep you energized, and they also take away any cravings if you ever start to have any cravings, because it's got like salts and magnesiums in them, and on a day like today, you need to drink one of these to just make sure you're getting all the right stuff. So these are electrolytes.
In water?
Yeah, and they taste great.
Put them in water. I do every single morning.
You do too, yeah.
Every single morning.
I just started them and I
fail.
love them. They're great. And then this is really deep down the carnivore rabbit hole. This is beef tallow. So it's beef tallow, and it's for your lips, hair, skin, face, everything. And I've been trying it for a while, and I like
Can
it.
I stick my finger
of
in?
course you can.
Yeah.
Go for it.
The name is not.
I know. It's beef
It
tallow.
doesn't
beef
smell
tallow.
like beef.
No, so that's
No,
it's beef
but
tallow, and that one has like drops of essential oil in it.
got peppermint.
But it's very natural, and it's
So
like trying to detox.
So just explain exactly what this is.
I know, it's disgusting when you think about it. So they take the fat from beef. So like say you grind
Like a cow then.
Yes, like a steak or whatever.
Well, maybe when they're making a bag, they take the
exactly,
and
yeah,
then
there's
that's
nothing wrong.
another
Exactly.
thing. Yeah, don't waste it.
And then essentially they take the fat, and the fat goes into I don't know something, and then it gets strained and strained and strained, and then the very last bit of it they'll put a bit of essential oil in it, or they'll leave it unscented. But it's just like a nice oil for your face, and so yeah, I've been using it on my face.
Surprisingly nice, given the name. Yes, it's
just people can't really get their head around it because they're like, you're putting beef fat on your face, and I'm like, I am.
Well, we put it in our bodies, so what's
people
it?
used to put Crisco back in the day.
I know.
That's true. Yes.
What else?
And then, okay, so then, this is really sweet. So I was talking about Paul. This actually came from a social media follower. She sent this to me. And this is my dog. Paul surprised me with him literally a million years ago. He's 4.5 now, almost 5.
Yes.
And I keep this mirror with me, but is it not the sweetest thing you've ever seen?
Yes. Now tell me more about him.
He's a chow chow.
I'm a
and
dog person.
Oh, he's the best. We got him, so he was a surprise from Paul. Obviously, it was on the internet. He filmed it. But this was back during COVID, and I was desperate for a dog. Yeah. And my dad, it's a really funny story. My dad when I was 7 years old, we lost our dog, and my dad went to a pet store, and he fell in love with this chow chow. And my dad was like, I was gonna purchase it. Goes to checkout, goes to like write a check to the lady. This is literally back in the 90s, right? And the lady goes, who's this for? And he's like, oh, it's for my daughter, and she's 7. And she was like, this chow chow, I'm not sure. I can't in good conscience. This chow chow's been, rehomed, and I don't want to, have you have this dog. So anyways, long story short, we ended up getting another dog. My dad told me that story years later, and I was like obsessed with chow chows. I became obsessed with them because I was like, we could have had a chow chow and they're so sweet. And so anyways, I told the story to Paul one day, and I was like, if I ever get a dog, it has to be a chow chow like for my dad. So we said that, and then anyways, long story short, he surprised me with him, and we've had him for 4 years, and he's literally our child. He is a big baby.
Yeah. He's Mother's Day cards.
Mother's Day, Father's Day, everything.
All that.
And I'm like, we are definitely fully and utterly obsessed with him. We're thinking about getting him a brother, not for us, for him. I'm like, he needs someone. It's not for us.
In the daytime as well.
Yeah, he's got me, and he's spoiled. And we took him to Dog Fest, and he came in 3rd. We're like obsessed with him. Yeah.
You definitely are. Yeah. But okay then. What's another obsession you're carrying in that handbag with you?
So I do have this. This is cool. This is from the Pink Ribbon Foundation. This is just a random thing to have in your bag. But I just got this actually last week.
To have on a boat.
Yes, I was like, I just got it last week. And it's from the Pink Ribbon Foundation. And I do a lot of charity work. Obviously, I'm a stroke survivor and I work with a lot of charities. But this is one that I work with. And this is the Pink Ribbon Foundation. They're doing a duck race. So I was like, they sent me that out and it's made its way into my bag somehow.
There we go. That's good. We're going to put that in the fountain.
People always think that strokes only happen, don't they, to older people?
Yeah.
It's a myth.
100%. It's one of those things that it's acceptable if you're like over your 50s or 60s, and it's very acceptable. If you are younger, like myself, I was 24, people don't understand that it can happen to you, so they don't think you're having one, which is the scariest bit. I had mine when I was on cruise ships, and I was luckily, underneath the ship is doctors, a medical, and there are doctors there, and they didn't really know. They tested me for everything, and they were like, what's happening? But then eventually, when they did find out that it was a stroke, they landed me, and I ended up having emergency heart surgery, and everything is sorted, and I'm good, and I've got everything good, and everything's healthy. But a year and a half later, my dad had a stroke, and he was 57. And they basically just accepted it at first. They said, they were like, you're borderline cholesterol. Like it's okay. You're 57. My dad was in great shape, and he said, "Can you check my heart?" Because my daughter had one a year ago, and they said, "Oh, well, that we didn't expect that." So they checked his heart, and it was just a hereditary thing that we have. So my mother, my father, and myself all have a hole in our heart, which is terrible, but. We now know, so it's okay.
Well, you can manage it now. At least you know. Yeah.
And so does the diet? I'm not calling it a diet for losing weight, as we know, but it's just your eating plan. Does that help?
Yeah, I think so. So I mean, they say that being in ketosis, being on a low carb diet, you could be on a paleo or keto or whatever it is. They say that really helps with brain survivors or brain injury survivors, because essentially your brain runs on fat. And so you're eating a lot more fat. So the more fat I eat, which is so counterintuitive to whatever we've ever been taught, we've been told low fat, low carb, eat all these processed things. I've also, because of this, you have to cut out everything processed. So I haven't had anything from a package in 6 months, and I feel the best I've ever felt. So I personally
pretty amazing.
I think it's the best thing you can do. So thank you.
So I'm not going to find an apple in your bag then.
No apples in there.
No apples.
No apples. No. Lots of lipstick, and that's about it.
Well, I think what we should do is just mash up your life a little bit more. And I've got another bag just to swap you over. There we go.
Oh, I can't wait to say thank you. Should we open it up?
Yes, there we go.
Oh, I love
that. Lovely. See, there you go.
I love that.
There you go.
That is right up my street. That is perfect.
Yes, it's the right colour, perfect colour, I think,
for you.
This
is the dahlia, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
I know my
the dahlia, the most famous one of all of our bags, the one that started it all.
I love this one.
Yes. There you go.
My first
thank you guys.
Yes, that's how we met over.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Because you know what I love? It's like organized chaos in there. I keep one of the dividers in there, and then you can put everything in it.
Organized.
Matches Tony. I love that
color.
color.
Louis Vuitton matches.
I know.
So beautifully.
My one real thing.
All put it in
there.
Put it all in there.
Oh, that looks
great.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys. I love my bag.
Isn't it? It's lovely.
Yes. Perfect